Okay, so number 10, our last one. I'm just going to move on over here to read it, but it's the same question. I can just write over here. So suppose your parents placed $5,400 into a college savings account when you were born. You have really nice parents. When you turn 18, the account has grown. It's all the way up to 22,000. Well, 22,140. Assuming the interest was compounded annually, what's the interest rate for the account? So we're not given the interest formula here. If you didn't write it down, it's this one back in our old problems. It's A equals P 1 plus R over N T. But I'm going to change it up a little because I saw this when I was reading. It was compounded annually. So that means just once a year it's compounded, the interest hits, the value goes up. So that N is how many times per year is it compounded? Well, just one. So N equals 1, N equals 1. When that happens, our formula changes to just a regular exponential growth. We just have 1 plus R, because R over 1 is R. Then 1 times T is just T. So it's a standard exponential growth. We need our initial value, and then we're given our ending value. That's A. So our initial deposit was 5,400. And after 18 years, we had 22,140. So I'm not putting the cents just because it's 0. It's not going to change our answer. And we're solving for R when T, our time, is 18 years. So it's set up. Now we just need to solve for R. And we're going to round to the nearest tenth of a percent. Okay. So first thing, we got to look at what's happening to R. R is to the 18th power after we multiply it by 5,400. So I'm going to get rid of the 5,400. I'm going to do the opposite of multiply. I'm going to divide it. So divide both sides by 5,400. That's going to leave 1 plus R to the 18th power. And then 22,140 divided by, I can't remember, 5,400 is 4.1, or you can write it as a fraction. I'm just going to leave it as 4.1. That seems easy. So now we need to get rid of this 18. So this is to the 18th power. So the opposite of something to the 18th power is the 18th root. So that means it's a square root, but our index is 18. So I have something to an 18th root, and I take it to the 18th power. Those are opposites, and then you're just left with what's underneath. So I'm going to take this whole thing to the 18th root, and what you do on one side, you have to do to the other. So now I have the 18th root of 4.1 equals, and these cancel out, so we just have 1 plus R. So last step, if we're adding 1, we're going to subtract 1 to get R by itself. So R equals the 18th root of 4.1 minus 1. So if you come over here to Desmos and you open up your keyboard, you're not going to see 18th root. You're going to see square root. So if you go to functions and go all the way down to the bottom under number theory, there's the root, square root. So 18th root of 4.1, and then don't put the minus 1 underneath the root. It's separate. So I'm going to use my arrow over and then minus 1. So I have 0.0815542. I don't need to write it all. But this is a decimal because in our formula, R is a decimal, right? If I have 6%, I would take that decimal and I would move it back to 0.06 to put in for R. But this is asking for the actual percent. So that means you're going to have to move the decimal over twice to get back to percent. So from here, I'm going to take my decimal and I'm going to move it over twice. So now I have 8.1542%. Now we're back to percent because I moved the decimal. And it's saying what? Round to the nearest tenth. So tenth is one number after the decimal. Just one number. So look next door. That's 5. That's greater, 5 or greater. So that means this 1 is going to change to a 2. So 8.2% would be our answer. And you don't have to type the percent because it's already there. You just have to type the numbers, make sure it matches, and we're good.